This is a broken chord of G in the style required by London College of Music. A chord of G major just means that you start on G as if you're about to play the scale of G major, but you just pick the first, the third and the fifth notes of that scale and use only those. To help show you that, I've picked out those notes of the scale and put some sticky notes on them just to make them stand out. So for the right hand, I would suggest always that you start below middle C. So this is my middle C, and I'm going to go below slightly into the sort of bass side, even though it's my right hand. We're going to pick 3 notes at a time, moving gradually up like this. So those are the notes we're going to use. The bottom set and the top set don't require any stretches because the span of those notes is just 5 keys, 5 fingers, so a finger gets each key. However, the ones that are a mixture in the middle span 6 notes. Clearly, still got only 5 fingers, so what we do is put the gap next door to our thumb. For the right hand, this means that even though we can do 1, 3, 5 at first, in the second set, when we want to stretch between 6 notes from 1 to 5, it means that finger 2 lands on the key that we need and we do 1, 2, 5. In the next set, that's also a span of 6. We're again going to leave the gap here, but it does mean that finger 3 lands back on the note that we need. So it's 1, 3, 5, but with a little stretch next to the thumb. And then the final one is the same as the first, no stretch needed. So we're working our way up the keys in a kind of caterpillar style. We don't fold right over like we do with a scale. This is what the right hand looks like. I'll do it really slow and then I'll do it at a faster speed. Lift and close in to start the next set. Lift and close in. Then we do play the top note twice, which is quite unusual. 5, 3 and a stretch in this one. 5, 2 and a little stretch for this one. And then when we come all the way back down to the bottom, we're back to where we started. So overall, it should look like this. Is exactly the same principle. However, when we look at the notes that have got 6 keys, because our thumb is relatively at the opposite end of our hand compared with the right hand, the gap goes in a different place. So what that means is for the second set, we don't use 2. We stick with 3 for another go. So it's the 3 and a stretch. And it's actually the third selection that needs the 2. And again, it's got a gap next to the thumb here. So the principle's the same, but the outcome is a little bit different because our left hand is a reflection of the right. So very much the same, no gap to start with. We can do another 5, 3, but then put the gap there to make sure we stretch 6 notes. Coming up, 5 is always the finger that raises in this left hand. This is the one that has 5 and 2. And then the final one is the same as the first. So coming downwards, you have to remember as soon as you've moved, this is going to be the 1, 2 version. So make sure you don't put 3 there. Then the remainders, you can go back to 3. A good little tip for these, when you've not got sticky notes on the keys to help you, is to try and reuse. Every time you play one of these, you're going to reuse 2 out of the 3 notes that you just used the last time. So imagine if we were doing a descending scale in the left hand, we can just see these 2 notes are going to be the first 2 that we use next time. So even without anything to highlight them, if you aim to replace, and then it helps you get the next one because there isn't a stretch there in the lower part of the hand. Again, I'm going to, out of those three, I'm going to reuse these two. So I'm going to put 1 and 3, and then I find my remaining note. And again, I'm going to use these two to replace. So that replacement technique can help you avoid going onto the wrong notes as you play. So this is the left hand at full speed. Just stick with one key for now, stick with G major. When you've got the pattern really good in each hand, you'll find that the other keys are really easy to achieve, because certainly at grade 2 at London College of Music, they all use the naturals, so you just feel like you're doing the same pattern from a different starting place.